Hello everyone, welcome to Moonkid's tutorial. So today we'll learn about bulk loading in MongoDB. What tools we're going to use today? Visual Studio Code. So if you want to know more information about how to install and how to use it, you can use this URL. I'll mention this links in the comment section. So today we'll talk about more about Python CSV loading and Pandas library. And this is a link for MongoDB. So you need an account in MongoDB to start loading data. So how to create an account, I have given in one of my videos, which is Advanced Python Topics. And this is a video, Python Fast API. So if you see this video from 40 seconds to 3 minutes 40 seconds, you'll find how to create an account. But don't worry, I'll make that clip a part of this video also, which I'm going to make now. So that video will be self-sufficient to find out how to create an account in MongoDB and how to start loading data in MongoDB using CSV library or Pandas. One thing more before we start, if you are new to Python, there is a playlist called Python for Beginners. So it has all the videos about how to install and use Visual Studio, how to work with variables, loop, conditional, Python list and tuples. So if you want basic details of Python, just follow this playlist. I'll mention all these things in the comment section. Now let's start with loading data in MongoDB after we make an account in MongoDB. Now please see this video which I'm going to show you now, and then we'll proceed further. Create a free account. Your company, Mongo. I'm learning MongoDB. You can enter your email ID. Learn. Your first name and your password. Let's wait for a few seconds. Okay, so what you can do here is you can pick up your preferred language. Let's pick up Python. Continue. Choose this option of creating a free cluster. Choose any location nearby to you. Create cluster. Now the best part here is you will get a checklist over here. So you keep going one by one and finish the account creation. Now create the first database user. Database access. Add new database user. Let's make a test user. Add user. Now add IP to your access list. Go to network access, add IP address. Click this option. Next, you can load the sample data. This is not required for this exercise, but if you want to do, you can click this option. And the last thing is to click connect. Now connect has three options. Connect using Mongo Shell application or MongoDB Campus. As we'll be using Python to connect, so click this one. Choose Python here and the version what you are using. Copy this URL and paste in your code editor. So we have copied this var underscore URL from MongoDB. And this I have given var mongo pass from os.get environment because I don't want to show the password, but you have made when you made the account, you created the test user and the password also. So you can directly put the password over here, or you can also make use of os.get environment to get the password details for test underscore user. Now let's start our coding. What we want, which libraries we want to start, and let's start loading data into MongoDB. So first we want from PyMongo import Mongo client. Now this is needed for inserting data into Mongo or interaction with MongoDB. Import OS, because we are making use of here os.get environment. If you notice here, if we comment out this one, this will give us warning because it is not imported yet. It is not defined in our program. So once we import, then the warning goes away. And then we'll start with import CSV, because we are going to read the CSV data. And now further on, we will make use of Pandas library today. So let's import that as well. Import Pandas as PD. So we got these libraries by Mongo, import Mongo client for MongoDB, OS because we are making use of OS environment, CSV because we are going to load data from the CSV, and Pandas, I'll show you why I have used this one. What is this var mango pass, which is storing the environment variable for test user password, which I'm going to put it over here. If you know the password, you can directly use this password in this var URL. Now let's create a client which will be used to talk to MongoDB. Let's name it as client. Client is equals to Mongo client, and in brackets we are going to give var URL. Now this var URL is very important because throughout this program we are going to use this connection string to interact with the MongoDB. So var URL, and in the client we have made use of var URL. Mongo client is used. Now throughout our program we are going to make use of this client variable now. So let's move further. Now we are going to interact with MongoDB. So what we're going to need is, we're going to need a database and tables. So in MongoDB the tables are called collection. So let's define database and collection in our program. First is MyDB is equals to client. What is this client? This is the client. What we're gonna name it now? Let's name it test database. Good. So what we have done, we have defined a database using this client, and the name of the database is test database. Further, we need collections. So what are collections? Collections are tables in MongoDB. So what we're gonna use? My collection is equals to my DB, which is this one. And then let's name the collection as my table. My table. So good so far. These are the libraries. Oh, we don't need this one. This got printed over here. So from PyMongo, import Mongo client. Good. OS, CSV, and Pandas. Pandas later on. So what we are doing here is we are storing the password for test underscore user. This is a var URL which we have copied from MongoDB, Mongo client, when we made an account in MongoDB. This is a client which is making use of this var URL. Throughout our program, we're going to use this client. And this client is used to talk to MongoDB. So it is an object created for the Mongo client. Further on, this is the database. We are using this client, and throughout our program we're going to use this one. The Mongo client and var URL will be used here, and throughout our program we'll be using this client. So MyDB is equals to client, then test database. This is the name of the database, and my call is my collection, which is making use of this database, and the name of collection is my table. Now let's define one small record to see whether our collection is working or not. MongoDB connection string. This is a connection string. We just need to find out whether this connection string is good or not. Let's find out. Let's define the record here. The name is Nicole, and second thing we want is roll num, which is 1001. Then branch is computers. So this is a record. Now let's try loading this record in MongoDB to find out whether our connection is working or not. We're going to use this mycall.insert one, because we want just one. What is, that's a wrong name. It's not mocall, it's mycall. Insert one and then record. Okay, so once again, what we have done, importing these libraries and then define this password, storing the password of test user over here. This is a var URL, which is connection string of MongoDB. This is a client. This is an object created for Mongo client. Defining our database, defining collection and a record, and then we are loading this record. Further on, we'll load multiple records from the CSV file, but let's see if this is working or not. First, we need to save this file. Let's save this file as bulk loading, and let's run this file. Good. So let's see whether it has made any entry or not. So this is our MongoDB and database access. So test user is the one which we have used. Now let's go to databases, browse collections. So this is our test database, what we have created, and this is a collection. So if you see here, the entry has been made for Nicole 101 computers. That's good. So if we just use another one to see if it is working or not, let's see. If we refresh this one, we will have two entries of 1002 Nicole. So basically our connection string is working. This is the record, and we made use of this record while inserting a data in the Mongo database. That's good. Let's move forward and open a file which has multiple records. Where this file is, let's find out this file. So we have these files. Let's find out how many records we have in sample.csv. 10 records, but we want a lot. So let's rename this file, which has proper records, which is nearly 1000, I believe. Let's find out. Cat sample.csv. So we have nearly 1000 records over here. Now if we open this sample.csv, so we have 1000 records with a header. So now we will load this CSV file through our Python program to MongoDB. Let's open the file with a cursor with open. We want the complete path of the file as f. Then a reader is equals to csv dot dictreader f. Then we gonna make use of list. Why we are doing that, I'll show you in a while. Reader, and then let's print this record also. So let's find out the complete path of the file. So this is the file and this is the path. loading bulk, and the name of the file is sample.csv. So what we are doing here is we are opening this file, we are reading this file, we are reading this file from CSV dictator here, and then we are making a list of it. Why we are making a list of it? You'll find out further on that when loading the multiple records in MongoDB, we have a command over there which will take a list of all the records which are dictionaries. So it makes a list of dictionaries of all the records and it straight away load in one go. We don't have to make a loop for loading. I'll show in a while. First of all, let's read this file and let's see what we get. Reading this file, so what it has done, it has copied everything, all the records. Now this is a too big. Let me find a small file for this, just for the learning, but we'll make use of big file for loading purposes. So if we make sample.csv as original, and if we just take few of the records of original to sample.csv, so what we have at this moment is how many records we got? We got 10 records. Now let's clear out this section and let's read it again. So it has made a list of all the dictionaries. Now these are the dictionaries we have, where we have serial number. Let me open the file over here also. So sample.csv. So if you see here, serial number, name here, phone, book is book_1, address is then postcode. So this is the file we have. So what it did, it made a dictionary of all the records with a header and the value, and then we printed this list of all the dictionaries over here. Now let's use the correct file which has more records, which is _org. So let me put over here as _org. So let's clean out and run this again. So now you'll find all the records in the list as a dictionaries with header using one record. So you'll find that header is associated with all the records now. Now what we're going to do is let's go to find out what we have. And we have two records in the data. Let's remove this one altogether, which is my table. So once you remove a collection, if this is the only collection you have, then you will not find anything over there in the database also. It will not show anything for that database for which there is no collection at all. So now let's write down the complete set of data, which is like 1,000 records, in one go in MongoDB. How are we going to do that? Let's find out. My collection, there is a command called insert many, and then you give it A, which is A is a list of all the records. Now if I run this one, and let's see what will happen. So just in few seconds, just less than 2 seconds I would say, let's open the MongoDB. Now if we refresh it over here, we should get nearly 1,000 records over here. Let's see. It's a bit slow. Let's wait for it. Okay, so this is the table database, and this has loaded 1001 records. So if you see here, we have not created any index on it, so just forget those things. We'll talk about later on, indexing and all. But see, this data is available now, and that has loaded in one go, which is so fast. If you see here, ID is a unique key over here in MongoDB, but if you don't provide it, it creates by itself. Now if you see here, all the records are loaded, all the 1,000 records are loaded here. So this is the beauty of MongoDB. There are certain commands which you can use in Python, which straight away load your data in MongoDB in few seconds. So this is this is a good thing. Now every time you use CSV file. You read those CSV files, and you store it in a list, and then you insert it. Let's find out. There is a very good library which is pandas, and let's make use of that thing now. Let's see what will happen if we use pandas, how easy the commands would look like, and how quick the operation would be. Pandas is a really good one. It makes use of data frame, and let me show you what exactly it is. Now let's find out. This is a data frame, and we want PD read CSV, and here we're going to give the same path what we have given with the open command. This is really amazing. Just see what will happen now. So what is happening? This is a PD. PD is what, if you go above, we are importing pandas as PD. Now we are making use of PD here. So far what we have done, we made use of a CSV file with loop. We read this file, and then we made a list over here, and then we inserted it. Now we do the similar operation using our pandas. Now if you see, let me print this data frame, and you'll find out how good it looks. It's used by data scientists, but it's really good because it will give you a visual representation of the data, how it looks like as a table. So if we don't print here now, and we have already loaded the data also, let's comment it out for a while, and then let's delete it also. My table deleted. So there is nothing available now. Let's run this one. Print df. So what it's gonna do? See, it has created a table here. You see that? This is the whole file we have. Now if I open this file, sample.csv.org, so this is the file we have, and this is a data frame. So it's so easy. See, data frame is reading this CSV file, and it creates an internal table like this one, exactly similar what we have in a CSV database, in a CSV file, sorry. So this is the indexing. Just leave it for a while, you don't need it. So let's move further and find out how we can load this data straight away to MongoDB. But before this one, let's look more about data frame, what more we can do with the data frame. So if we want to know the column names only for data frame, so you don't have to go to the CSV file and just find out the columns and values. So you can find out everything over here. Let's run this one. It should give me the column names. These are the column names. So you don't have to go to the CSV file to find out these things. These are mentioned over here. Now what if you really want one more column to be created? You don't want to mess the CSV file because that is the original file you have. And what we have in our CSV is serial number, name, and all. Okay, let's make another column with a serial number multiplied by 2. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to this data, but you can find out in future if there is a column of a price or something, and if you want to multiply that price by 2, what you're going to do. So df, sorry, not here. So we come here, df, and then we're going to name it. Let's name it the same what we have over here, which is serial number. So if we see here, serial number, and let's repeat it with same serial number, but here we rename this one as _1 because this is going to be a new one now. And then if we multiply by 2, see what we get. We have not printed this one actually, so it will not show us unless we print it. So let's print here df, and let's see what we get. We got here serial number _1, which is like serial number multiplied by 2. So you can play around with this pandas library. This is a really good one. This is actually used by the data scientist, but anyone can use it. So if you want, we got one column, we added one column, we find out what number of columns we have. You can also drop a column also, like if you really want to drop it. So df dot drop, and then what you're gonna do is the name of what you want to drop. Let's drop phone. Let's drop phone, which is the name should be exactly same what you have in the columns, otherwise it will not work. And the command is access is equals to 1, and then in place is equals to true. Now what in place do is, in place is actually updating the same data frame. Otherwise you have to store in another data frame after removing the column. Let's see if it works. So it has removed the phone one. It's now name and book. Above you have name, phone and book. Here you have name and book. So it is so good actually. You don't have to go to the CSV file, modify that CSV file, because that is a pain sometimes. You keep updating your input data to get the data what you want. So it is so easy now. It is easy to just play around, store the data in the data frame, and then you play around the way you want. Let me comment out this particular thing because we don't need it for a while. So let me comment out. It is commented. Now what we are trying to do, the way we have loaded the whole data using reading the CSV file, we'll load the data using this pandas. Now coming back, if we clear out the screen and run the job again, let's see what we get. We're just getting exactly the same CSV file what we have in our Unix system. So we are reading this CSV file in this data frame. Further on, what we want, because as we know that the insert command needs a list. So let's make it as a list. First of all, we make as a record, a dictionary, and then we will make this dictionary as a list. What we're going to do here is let's name this variable as dictionary object is equals to df. Now this is a magical part. to underscore dict, and then orient is equals to records. So now this command will make a list of dictionaries. Now let's see what we are going to get now. So print here, what we're going to write as print is, come on, we will write as data frame as dictionary, and then we will print out dictionary object. Print dictionary object. Lovely. Let's see what it will give us. See what it has done? It has done the same thing what we have achieved by reading this CSV file, but now with this one line it has created the same results what we wanted. We want header, then a value, header and a value, and a similar record. Let's see header and value 998, header and value 999, header and value 1000. So it has made a dictionary, a list of dictionaries now. Now really, if you want to find out what kind of object it has created, you can find out. You can write down by type and then dictionary object. Let's see what it gives us. It should give us class list. So this has created a list for us. Now what we're going to do, what we have done over here is my call insert a. What we will do here is exactly similar, which is my call insert many. In place of a, we will use dictionary object. Now we are not loading it before. No, we're not loading it before. Is there any data? We don't have any data at all. And let's run it now. Let's see what we get. Clear the screen. Run the job. Good. It is loading. Beautiful. Now it has loaded the data. Did it have data? It's saying 1 of 8. Let's remove this data. First of all, my table drop We have nothing over here. We have nothing over here. No. Let's run it again. Run the job. Okay. Let's see how many data we have over here. Good. We got all the data here. See? We got all the data available. So this is the beauty of MongoDB using Python, because you can use just one command to load everything what you have. Now let's remove this one again, my table. And how much data we have is cat sample CSG. Let me triple the data and use it as sample.csv. So what sample.csv has is 3000 data, 3003 data. Now, do we have data over here? No, we don't have it. The file what we created is sample.csv. So we come to our code, we will make use of sample.csv, not original. And when we run this one, so we will have a lot of data over here. Do we have data at this moment? We don't have data. Let's go here. Let's run this. Let's see what it has done. So it has got 3003 data. So this is what I was telling you, that this goes so fast. Even if you wrote 10,000, 20,000 of lines, it will be very fast here. So this is what we have learned today. We have learned the bulk loading into MongoDB using MongoDB. These are the libraries. OS was used just to get the password. Let's go through the code again. These are the imports. OS is only to get the password stored for test and for user. You can directly put your password over here. Then CSV, because we are reading the CSV file. Then pandas, because we want the pandas data frame to be used while loading. Now this is the client object which is created for Mongo client. This is a database, which is the name is test underscore database. Collection is my table. This is one record we tested in the beginning by loading one record. See, every time there is a new entry of 1001 because of this one, every time this runs, it makes an entry over here. So we can comment it for a while. We don't want 1001 record. Now, initially we were opening the file with the cursor, and we were reading this file with CSV text reader, and then we were making a list of it. Because why? Because the Python insert many commands expects the list of dictionaries while loading. So now if we see here, we are loading this data. We are making use of PT pandas and making a data frame over here, printing the data frame. Then we are making a list of dictionary of all the records. So this is the beautiful command which does all this magic. Then we are printing this dictionary object, type of dictionary, and inserting everything. Now, how many records do we have over here in 3003 records? And this is what we got when we loaded the whole sample of file. So you can double, triple the size of the file, and you can play around the way you want. So this is what we have learned today as bulk loading of MongoDB using Python, Pandas, and CSV. I hope you've enjoyed the lesson today. As again, this was made on the request of one person, which has commented on the video that if he wants the data loading to be happen in bulk. So, but if you have any other suggestion in future, please write down in the comment section, and I can make the next video based on your request. Please subscribe the channel. Thanks for watching. Thank you.